Are you still struggling with your pop-up? I know a lot of surfers who've surfed for many years and they still have problems with their pop-up, especially when they're taking off in a steeper, more critical part of the wave. I've made a tutorial in the past about 7 different ways or common ways people use to get to their feet. So 7 different pop-ups. And some are bad, some are okay, and some are good. So I'll be breaking down each pop-up in a shorter tutorial. So today we will be speaking about the chicken wing pop-up. And this is a very common pop-up people use to teach in certain parts of the world. And I've had some problems with customers and guests who've learned this technique and then they struggle surfing green waves and they struggle surfing or taking off on a steeper part of the wave. So have a look at this. I'm going to show you what to do and what not to do, and I hope you learn something. The chicken wing pop-up is a common pop-up a lot of coaches use to teach beginner surfers. So it kind of looks like this here. You'll place your hands flat on the board, keep your head and your chin lifted up, place your back foot down first without lifting up your ass, and that will cause this knee dragging through the water, and it's not good. So a lot of beginners using this technique might get away with it on a bigger, wider, thicker board, but on a narrower board like this, or even on a fish or mini mile, it's not going to work. So the best way to pop up is using this technique. There are other techniques which I've spoken about before, and I'll get into more detail with each of them. But the best way is just to lift your chest and your ass up off the ground or off the board. Place your back foot down first, and you see where the knee is positioned now. The knee is lifted up off the board, out of the water, and there's no drag. And then you place your front foot, and that's it, okay? From a different angle, it looks like this. You'll see there goes the back foot. So this is the chicken wing pop-up. Back foot goes down on the tail pad. You don't lift up the ass, and then this causes the knee to drag through the water. That's going to cause a lot of turbulence. It's going to slow you down, put you off balance, and it's going to affect your pop-up big time. All right? So we need to avoid that, and the best way, like I said, is to try lift up and elevate your chest and your ass. So you need to lift up that ass just like this, and all you got to do is use your knees to lift up, to push up and get your ass up off the board. So use your knees, and then you're going to place that back foot down first, and you see the knee is lifted up off the board, out of the water, and then it's easier to have more control during a pop-up. So I've had a lot of students and customers who've been taught this technique, the chicken wing technique, and they come for some surf coaching and they end up struggling with their pop-ups even after several months, and it's because of this knee dragging through the water. So we need to avoid that. And I want to show you the same thing from a GoPro angle. There we go, let's watch this. So there goes the chicken wing technique. If you have a closer look over here, the knee is dragging through the water. Look at all the spray coming through from the right side of the board. My right leg is dragging through the water, and it's causing a lot of drag. It's slowing me down, putting me off balance, and I've got a lot more control than most people because I've surfed for 25 years. But a beginner to intermediate surfer with this technique will struggle a lot. So we need to avoid this technique. Again, on a very wide board, you can get away with it. This is a 9.6 longboard that I'm using, and it is wide, and my knee is still dragging through the water. Not as bad as it would be if I was on a short board. So we need to avoid that. Like I said, this here is the proper way to do it. Like I said, you want to lift your chest and your ass and your chin up off the board. Create some space over there for you to lift up your leg underneath your chest, underneath your hips, and that's going to cause you to keep the knees out of the water. So your knee won't drag through the water. There goes the knee. It's not getting dragged through the water. So that's causing the board to be a lot more trim and a lot more steady through the water. So remember, Use your knees to lift up your ass like this. Use your knees to lift up your ass and your body. Don't be scared to use the knees. There's a big difference between going to the knees and using the knees. You need to use the knees to create that space right over there to get that back foot down first, and then the front foot goes underneath your chest. So that's one of the better ways to pop up. There are different ways to pop up, which I've spoken about before. And like I said, I'll go through in more detail how to use each technique or each pop-up technique. This is how I stand up, back foot first, then the front foot. I also do a pop-up or a jump up from my knees to my feet, which I've spoken about before. But this one here is a slower technique, which is suitable for intermediate surfers as well, where you just lift up by using your knees, get the back foot down first, then the front foot. So it's a 3-step pop-up, and it is doable for most surfers. So good luck with that. Guys and girls, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something from this tutorial. If you have any feedback, please let me know. If you do have any suggestions, let me know too. And if you have any other way you pop up, any technique that you use to get to your feet, which works for you and which is different to what I've taught and gone through, please reach out to me and let me know. Have a great day, and hopefully I'll see you in the barrel.